Journey 2020. I'm Charles Morris. Happy to have you with me, along with www.thejourney2020. And also, if you're joining us on Facebook, happy to have you with us. I'm Charles Morris, and we've been around since 2013 and bringing you some serious topics as well as just sitting around having some fun. Tonight, it's a little different because as I go back and to my archives, I've come across what I think is some very good footage of some of my teen summits back in the day when I was on Orange TV for 9 years. But before I get to Orange TV and the archives and all of that, if you've been watching the show, you know from time to time I have Dr. Woods on the show. And Dr. Woods have been giving us updates and informing us about the P shot and the O shot. And so if you don't know anything about that, then you need to go back to the archives and check out, there's actually 3 shows on the P shot and the O shot. And he will also talk a little bit about the wave gain. You should go to www.centerforurology.org at 407-830-4770. If you've been watching the show is what I was trying to say, or you need to Google the P shot and the O shot. And as Dr. Woods would say, getting you back into the game. So I want to apologize there for losing the audio there for a second. But the O shot, and they have something new called the wave gain. So you need to Google that. You need to call them and find out the benefits of all of this something that's a little new and some alternatives for you. So I'm not going to really get into it, but I'll tell you this right here. If you find that this is something that interests you, you may know someone, I would say tell them that you heard about it here on the Journey 2020. And again, I always say, I don't know how much of a discount, but they will give you some type of discount for acknowledging that you heard about it on the Journey 2020. Again, I'm Charles Morris. Happy to have you with us. And this is going to be really a fun show for me because when I look back and I look at Monica May, for those here locally, for those who are watching outside of the Orlando area, Monica May is very active. She's one of the top persons here. She's always been one of the well-known persons as a DJ. She used to be at a station called 102 Jams, and then she went to the Tom Joyner station, for those who know what I'm talking about, the Tom Joyner station. So she's actually on in the morning with Tom Joyner here locally. But Monica May left, she went to Texas, but she's always been very active in the community. So as I did my shows back in, I was on air for 9 years with several shows. But from time to time, she would be my co-host. And we used to do a lot of things together, and we still do. So I want to share, and I will be sharing some of the archives with you. But this is my very first Teen Summit when I started it back, and I hate to say this, back in 1996. We're talking with, I have a panel, and we had teens in the audience. So I just thought that you would really get a kick out of the very first Teen Summit. And you can give us some feedback, and I would just say, sit and enjoy.
Issues that the teens have to deal with today, like drugs in school, peer pressure, and teen pregnancy. Today's show will focus on the issues of teen pregnancy and its causes and effects. Since May is Teen Pregnancy Prevention Month, we decided to bring you a forum entitled, Taking Care of Business, Are You Bout It, Bout It? Well, teens expressing themselves on the issues. Hello, everyone. I'm Charles Morris, and welcome to BPOS. And today we have a special show among friends, and we invited a special guest as our co-host, Miss Monica May from 102 Jams.
Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to be here. I've got a host of folks joining me up here on this stage, and I just wanted to say thank you so much to the Embassy for letting us use their stage and just their house for this evening. So I'm going to have the panelists start from my right and just introduce themselves.
Good evening. My name is Ken Moore from Walt Disney World.
Okay, when you talk, make sure you're talking through the mic, please. Okay.
Hello, my name is Marie Baptiste. I'm from AmeriCorps Orlando.
Hello, my name is Nicole Sims. I'm a senior at Jones High School and a member of the Teen Advisory Panel.
Hello, my name is Alvina. I'm also a senior on the Teen Advisory Panel.
Hi, I'm Sherry Priester. I'm the Community Development Coordinator with the Teen Pregnancy Prevention Program.
Hello, I'm Darshay Bellamy, and I attend Evans High School.
I'm Vanetta Arrington. I'm also a senior at Jones High School.
Okay, Nicole, I understand that you're going to give us some information on why we're here today.
Yes. 3 million teens are affected by STDs each year out of a total of 12 million cases reported. These diseases include chlamydia, syphilis, and AIDS. And in 1997, there were 1,070 births to teens who are younger than 19 years old in Orange County, which is 9% of the total teen state birth. And we're here today to express ourselves on these issues so that we can come up with ways to deal with them in our communities.
Okay, now we have three different organizations up there. Yes?
Yes, Alvina's going to introduce the organization.
Okay.
We have 4 organizations here with us today. We have Nicole Sims with Weekends of Orlando, Miss Marie Baptiste of AmeriCorps, Sherry Priester with Teenage Pregnancy Prevention, and as they said before, Miss Cassandra Turner, who is a teen mother and who now has a teen, and Mr. Ken Moore, who's a specialist at Disney World.
And want to know that Mr. Moore is a father. Yes. Okay, now, out of the 4 or 3 organizations that's up there, do you guys work together?
Yes, we do a lot of peer education, going out talking to different peer groups, and Weekends kind of provides activities for the different peer groups, and so does AmeriCorps. And I think AmeriCorps is going to talk about the peer groups that they've talked to.
That's Ms. Baptiste, right?
Right.
And tell us a little about your organization.
Well, AmeriCorps Orlando, first and foremost, we promote abstinence. We stand on that for teens. And secondly, if in case the teen is pregnant or has a child, we're there to counsel them. We help them. We network for resources as far as them going back to school and completing their goals, that life doesn't stop after pregnancy. Also, we deal with the parents, the teen fathers, the peer groups that we have. We talk with them, we listen, we lend an ear. We offer information and bring guest speakers in, and we also network with them as far as completing goals. Whatever goals they have, we help them to attain that.
Okay, are you through the county, right?
Pardon me?
You're associated with Orange County.
Orange County, yes.
Okay.
We have Nicole who's with the Weekends program.
Okay.
Well, Weekends of Orlando is a nonprofit organization that sponsors positive drug and alcohol-free events for teens, and all of these events are organized and executed by teens with a little bit of help from the adults who work with us. We have 11 chapters in high schools in Orlando, and we sponsor dances like Tropical Blizzard, which drew in over 700 students. We have community service projects like Kids for Kids, which is a mentoring program for high school students to mentor to younger students, and leadership training through the Lee Norris Ram Leadership Series. We also, I've had several opportunities through Weekends, and I don't think I would have gotten them without being a member of Weekends. And I suggest to all teens who'd like to get involved in something positive at their schools that they join Weekends.
Okay, Weekends is through the city of Orlando, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Next, we have Sherry Priester.
Okay, once again, I'm Sherry Priester with the Teenage Pregnancy Prevention Program that's actually under the Orange County Health Department. And we have a teen advisory panel, and up here with me are our senior members for the teen advisory panel, which is Vanetta, who's a senior at Jones, and Darshay, who's a senior at Evans, Alvina, and Nicole. And basically, what they do, along with our other members of the teen advisory panel, we have over 30, they just go out and kind of educate. They do like peer groups with different teens in the various community centers, and they go out to speaking engagements in the schools and churches and other places. We were able to do this through our grant with the Center for Disease Control, which started in 1995. We received a 2-year grant to do what we call teenage pregnancy prevention planning, to see what we can what we can do to reduce teen pregnancies in our area. And we did this we did many focus groups, surveys, key informant interviews, just talking to different teens and adults to see what we can do to reduce teen pregnancies. And that was for the first 2 years. And in November, we were refunded our grant for an additional 5 years just to implement some of the programs that we found that will work in our community. And basically what we've done is we came across what we call the Search Institute's Youth Assets, and there are 40 assets. They did a study of 275,000 teens to see what positive attributes they had in their lives while they were graduating without becoming pregnant, without being involved in teen violence. And we found that they had at least 40 assets, for example, linked to a caring adult. And what we're trying to do now is we're basing all of our programs on these youth assets, trying to implement these in the various community centers. And basically our grant, we work out of 3 zip codes, 32805.
Okay, now, are you referring to your graphics? Have you gotten to your graphics yet?
I'm getting to them now.
Okay.
We work out of 3 zip codes, 32805, 32808, and 32811. And basically, we have a graph that shows that there has actually been a downward trend in the number of teen births in Orange County. At first, like in the early 80s and 90s, the teen births were increasing, but there has actually been a decrease, and it's kind of leveling off. But even with that information, we do have some zip codes where the teen birth rates are increasing, and which is why we've kind of targeted our efforts in 3 zip codes. We have a graph also that shows the different zip codes.
That's it there? I think it's on the screen now.
Yes, that's it. It shows the highest zip codes. For example, in 32703, that's the Apopka area, we had 28 births for teens ages 15 and 16. In 32808, that's like the Pine Hills area, we had 33 births to teen ages 15 and 16. In 32805, that's our Paramore, Washington Shores area, there were 29. So we still have areas where we have a high number of teen birth rates, and so we're concentrating our efforts in those areas. And one other interesting fact that we have is in 1996, even though our teen birth rate is kind of leveling off, we had an increase in the number of, when we look at birth by race, according to your racial background, there has actually been an increase in the number of white births as opposed to the number of black births to non-white teenagers. It's kind of leveling off, but at the age of 16, as our graph shows, the number of births to white females has increased.
Okay.
So that's one of the things we're looking at as to why we've had that increase.
And I've had you on the show before, and I talked to you, and you guys came on the show, and you guys have books about this thick.
That's our needs assessment.
Right, on all the statistics and all the studies that have been done.
Right.
There is a problem.
Right.
Yes. I'm asking you a question. There is a problem.
Yes, there is a problem with teen pregnancies.
In your own experiences and the people that you talk to, I guess I'm asking the question, what is it that we can do to try to prevent teens from getting pregnant?
Well, based on these graphs, number one, it's a community effort. We need everyone to kind of come together.
Well, I guess my question is, you find out, is it because of low self-esteem? Is it because of the family breakdown? Because I know Monica will attest to this, and as well as Ken, that regardless of what we say here, it starts at home.
That's right. We found that thick document that you're talking about, our needs assessment, is every time we went out and we did these interviews, they found out that the kids are asking that they want to get the information from their parents. Now, we've done a lot of interviews, and that's what the teens have told us, but that's one of the reasons why we're here today. We want to talk to some of our teens to find out if that's the case. And we know that it does start at home, and that's one of the reasons why we're implementing some parenting education programs in the communities also.
Okay. We were out about 2 weeks ago. We you were out at one of the benefit basketball games,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And they had a halftime show. They
Right.
had the little kids out there dancing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Here
little
we
girl, she's
go.
about 3,
Right.
4 years
Yes.
old.
Mm-hmm.
I want to show part of the halftime. I can't.
Right.
She was doing something that I can't show.
And then she was how old?
She was about 3 or
about
4 years
4.
old.
Okay.
Now, Ken, how old is your daughter?
She'll be 4 in October. She's 3 right now.
Okay, if you saw your daughter doing some of the dances that you see the kids doing today, how would you respond to that?
First of all, I don't think she'll be in a situation where she would perhaps do those dances, because what we teach her at home, we spend a lot of time, a lot of family time, showing her what's right, what's wrong, what is acceptable out in public. And we try to spend that amount, you spend a whole lot of time with Kenya, that's my daughter, and let her know, again, what's good, what's bad, what's appropriate, what's non-appropriate. So, but perhaps if she got into that situation, we would pull her to the side and correct it right there. Right then and there, we would correct her.
In some instances, you'll find that when the kids are out and they're listening to Master P or whomever, and it's their favorite song, just automatically the body is just going to start going. So if we applaud that kind of dancing and that kind of behavior when they're that young, they're not going to see anything wrong with it. So Ken is right when he says that it does start at the home level. But what do you do when they're out and away from you? Have you really instilled in them? And this is besides dancing. This is just hanging out. This is just natural peer pressure. What do you do to make sure that your child is not going to go astray or do the wrong thing when they're outside of your eyesight? Now, Ms. Baptiste has talked about abstinence. I heard that, okay? How many of us are up on abstinence? How many of us really believe that children today are going to abstain? Do we then arm them with the proper precautions? What do we do?
Ms. Priester, do you
Well-
guys address that?
Well, our programs are what we call abstinent-based programs because, you know, we although we would like for all of our teens to, of course, be abstinent, but we realize that there are some teens who will not be abstinent. And that was one of the questions we did a lot of focus groups about 2 weeks ago. And we were doing focus groups with males, and we asked them the questions, is it acceptable for males to be abstinent? And they looked and they said, yeah, you can be, but, you know, that's not the case. And we asked, well, when is it, you know, it's not so acceptable. And they were saying for males, it's like 10, 11, and 12 years old. And then we said, well, and then they said, well, it's up to the girls, you know, keep their legs closed. But we know if we just keep talking to them or pressuring them enough that they'll give in. So it's like around 10, 11, and 12 is when the teens stop being abstinent.
Well, go ahead.
I just want to interject for a moment. Abstinence, not just for the sake of not having a baby, preventing pregnancy, but abstinence for life. I mean, there are so many things out there that can kill you. If, you know, is it worth that Russian roulette game just for a few moments of pleasure? That's what I would like.
Do you find that the kids actually believe that? Or is it one of those things where,
And let's ask
do
from
you
the
guys
kids,
believe
yeah.
that you can be killed? I mean, something that you can actually die from?
Do you believe that sex can be deadly?
Yeah.
Who says that they do? Okay, now that's the majority of our audience out here.
And
So they
another-
seem like they're up on it.
And another thing we found is that even though you're saying that sex can be deadly, a lot of these kids don't consider, or youth, I don't want to call them kids, they don't consider, for example, like oral sex to be sex. So and just in this focus group last week, we heard, well, if you just have oral sex, you can't catch a disease. And then all the kids went, yes, you can, yes, you can. And, you know, it was a discussion, it was a debate. And then they finally said, well, not as many as you would, you know, you can't die from it. So, I mean, that's another issue that we're dealing with.
When you talk to AIDS specialists these days, they will mention the fact that they are dealing with teens that have this omnipotent feeling that nothing's going to happen to them. Is that basically how you guys feel? That I'm not going to get AIDS. I'm not going to get herpes. Chlamydia, that'll never happen to me. Nothing sexually transmitted. Do you feel like that? So then you are living in reality, huh? Sex can be deadly.
Well, my thing is with the teenagers, first of all, you need to understand that no question is a stupid question. If somebody approaches you and say, well, you know, I like you, but you know that your mom has given you ground rules that you can have a boy as a friend, but not as a boyfriend. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. And then he turns around and says, well, forget your mom. That means he doesn't respect you. First of all, you have to understand that you need self-love first. If you love yourself, you're not going to let anybody violate you. You know what I mean? So as far as with the sex, you guys have no clue what it's about. First time you can get pregnant, first time you can get AIDS, first time you can get chlamydia, first time you get VD, everything. And it's like when I'm sitting here looking at the kids, and they're listening to us, but they're like, and it's so serious. I mean, you do not have a clue what it feels like to have a baby and walk around, and you can't go to the prom, you can't go to grad night, you can't go anywhere with your friends because you got a baby.
Okay. Have something you wanted to say?
Right, what I had wanted to say was that in our peer groups, which we do conduct peer groups and listen to the teens, and what we've heard is that they happen to think that AIDS, yes, it is here, but there's a cure for it. So if they have AIDS, that some type of medication will prolong their life. Although that may be true, but the majority of them don't even have the amount of money that it would take to prolong their life like that. So, you know, there is that, the lack of education, which is what we try to do. We try to go out there and teach, you know, self-awareness and be aware of what's out there and not to suffer under the misconception that whatever is out there, there's a cure for it, there's a shot for it. It's not necessarily so.
Can you tell us more about the teen board or the teen panel and how they're involved, and are there adults that actually talk to the teen board or the teen panel?
No, actually, we have a teen facilitator who's Karen Wynn, and she's in the audience.
Oh. Can you?
Yeah, Karen can tell you about the teen board.
Come and talk to me and tell me how you work with the kids.
As Ms. Priester mentioned earlier, we are abstinent-based as a program, which means that our principles are founded on recommending and stressing and promoting abstinence, but we also come from a reality-based program whereby not every teen is going to be abstinent. And for the ones who have decided to go ahead and engage, we try to educate them with reference to what they can do to protect themselves, you know. It's still a matter of trying to convince them that this may not be something you're ready for because there are a lot of risks and consequences involved. But if they're determined, we try to give them the information so that they can not only protect themselves, but make a more educated decision. With reference to our teens, recently we hired 4 new people. And they're going to be based out of the community centers, so we're going to have staff working actually at community-based programs. We mentor for the teens. We try to provide structured activities for the teens, as in this one. Just basically community involvement, trying to get the community involved. May is Teenage Pregnancy Prevention Month, so we're looking towards May 2nd doing our first faith breakfast. We're trying to get the faith community involved. Our whole pretense in our program is going to be based upon the 40 assets, because in believing that once you engage in the 40 developmental assets, the more of them you engage in, the greater the chances are that they will graduate from high school, number one, graduate without being a teen parent, not engage in teen violence and things of that nature. So we're trying to develop their assets, develop community resources, and do as much as they can, and we're using the teens to actually do that.
You find that there are a lot of adults, parents, that are not dealing with the reality of what's going on with the kids, because I had a conversation with you, and you was telling me about some questions that some 9 and 10-year-olds were asking you, and you kind of like stood back and go, whoa, because 9 and 10-year-olds are asking you. We can't repeat the questions, but my question is, with the kids that you work with and the people that you talk to, and even for myself, growing up, a lot of kids found it very hard to talk to their parents about sex. Is that the case?
That is the case, and we'll have a lot of teens that are saying, well, yes, I know that possibly I could go to my parents, but they often choose not to. And these are even the more educated, the more outspoken teens. And you're absolutely right. Some questions that I've heard from 9-year-olds were kind of startling, and it's kind of hard as a professional out there, you know, with HIV/AIDS awareness and teenage pregnancy prevention as my platform. I hear all kinds of things. But sometimes when you hear the questions that come from the 9-year-olds, and you're right, we really can't repeat them because some of them are so graphic that it still startles you, and you have to keep a poker face, and you have to be able to answer them factually. And sometimes it does get difficult. And that, a lot of the times, we use what we call teachable moments. And this is one period of time that I would encourage that youth to talk to the parents about it. And if they need assistance with reference to maybe myself or one of our staff members, to actually sit down and communicate, be like the referee between parent and teen, we're willing to do that too. But it's very important to engage the participation of the parent with teen, because communication between parent and teen is very, very, very important. And we're there to facilitate in any way necessary. But absolutely, even though they will say yes, it's important that we communicate with parents. When it comes down to it, you know, they may be convinced or they may be talked into doing something that they aren't actually ready for, and parents aren't there at that time.
So is it more difficult to deal with the parents or the kids?
Parents are shocked, and a lot of times the parents aren't believing what we're telling the teens are asking. So sometimes it takes the teen actually there and saying, yeah, Mom, I really need to know about this. And it's not necessarily because I want to engage, it's because everybody else is talking about it, and I want to know. I have questions.
Questions?
You know, we're talking about the sexually transmitted diseases, pregnancy, things that can happen to you the first time around having sex. Are we talking about the emotional part of it? Because what happens if you do that and then he never calls again? What happens if you do this because you've gotten pressured into it and you see him walking down the street the same way he was walking down the street with you right before you went to? What do you do with that? There's an emotional side of this, and it's baggage. How do you handle that?
And I can tell you from my experience at the age of 16,
bang, zoom to the moon.
I fell in love with this girl, and this girl broke my heart. It took me 3 years to get over this girl.
See?
I was not ready emotionally, but at 16 or 17, you couldn't tell me that.
Okay.
So, speaking from experience. One of the other things that I would like to talk about is that I talked to Tracy, and we want to thank Tracy because Tracy allowed us to be here today, and she was telling me about something that happened here at the club. And a young lady had her mother drop her off. And when she dropped her off, she went in the bathroom and changed clothes and came out in something, I guess we can call it sleazy, I guess. And
you got it. Sleazy.
And the mother came back a little early and caught her in her outfit, kind of pulled her off the dance floor and took her home. But my question that I would like to ask the ladies, do you think that you're sending the wrong message to guys when you dress a certain way? What is that you said?
Someone from the audience.
I'll answer that because I have two. I have a 14-year-old and a 7-year-old. And what I'm seeing now, yes, you are sending the wrong message. If you have to add hair to what you already have, you're telling yourself right now, I don't like what I look like. I don't like what my parents have created. If you need to be wearing nails and you can't afford them, you don't like what you have. You're telling your parents, I don't like what you created. A lot of you have self-respect problems, and you have disrespect problems to your elders. And from the old school, we weren't allowed to talk back to anybody.
Okay, we have someone up at the mic.
I don't agree with that because I got hair on my head. That don't mean I don't like what I have, whatever. That's like a style that you like, whatever. And some girls go get their nails done. I got my nails done. I don't mean I don't like my nails. It's just like I like how they do nails. That's what I want.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Where do you work?
I don't work.
Right, so it's your parents that is affording that for you?
Yes.
Okay, most of that comes out of our household, our pockets, and most of the time the appearance that you're trying to upkeep, that could be food on the table, that could be a community activity that you should be participating in, that could be anything positive than trying to show a young man what you really look like.
Are you doing the extra, no, don't go anywhere, are you doing the hair, are you doing the nails for a man? Attraction, affection, or are you doing it for you? And what's your name?
Demisha.
Okay, Demisha. Are you doing it for you, or are you doing it for someone else's affection or attention?
I do it for myself.
Okay. But I do understand that as a parent, it does make you wonder. Now, what do you do to add to the household so that it's not so much of a depletion financially? What do you do? You have chores? What do you do? How are your grades? How you living, girl?
I have chores. Like if I do what I'm supposed to do. My mom, she helped me out. It's not up to, like, I get my hair done because I want to impress some boy or something.
You still haven't answered me. What do you do at home? What do
I
you
do
do? What do you
chores. I have
add to the
chores.
household, girl?
I have chores.
You do? Okay. How are your grades?
They're good.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we have a
I just want to know how you living, girl.
comment.
Wears the acrylic nails in the hair, and so does my mother and my grandmother, and they don't see anything wrong with it. And as far as me, I work, I cook, I clean, I do my chores around the house. Like I take care of the house when my mom's not home, and I really don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, it's
The reason why I said that is because I think some of our young ladies take it too far. The reason why we have teen pregnancies and rapes is because our ladies are taking it too far. I am a hairstylist. And when you come in and you want to have this and have your hair hanging all down here and your dress is up to where your hair meets, that's the wrong message. And as a parent, I don't think you need to dress like that to get your message across.
Okay, hold on. You look like you have something to say. Well, step up to the mic.
I don't agree at
Step
all.
up
Step
to
up
the
to the mic.
microphone, darling.
About that hair and all this, it's not all women. It's only certain women to draw attention. So you saying all these women, it's girls out here that just carry themselves normal. They don't have to, add all that. So I don't agree with that. My name is Sheena. I'm from Oak Ridge.
Okay.
Hold on.
But you know what? I'm real glad, and I'm gonna take this in a different direction for 1 second. Her name was Sheena. Okay. I'm gonna imitate her from up here. The posturing. That's what she's talking about. That's what the posturing. And you said all that you said, and it was wonderful. But all of that with the attitude, the aggressive attitude, that's exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly,
See,
Monica.
as youth, we weren't able to do that. Okay, so something is missing here because, and I'm not coming down on you, but I have an 8-year-old, and she knows now she can't posture like that.
Exactly.
Not to me. Not to the woman that's doing the bread providing, the roof supporting, and everything else.
Exactly.
We got to work on that, darling. That's all I'm saying, with no aggression or anything, and I'm not coming down on you. But it's the posturing that we definitely need to work on because that's how you're being portrayed.
Can I make one more comment? I just think, Monica, because I think that shows a breakdown in the home statute. A lot of our teens are raised by a single...
Calm down.
I know it's not their fault, but this situation that they're thrown in. I just think if they respect that parent for what they are doing for them, whether it's your father, your mother, or your grandparents, there are several of you that are here being raised by a grandparent. It's just not there. It's not there for school. It's not there for anything, and that's why we see our kids getting into trouble. And
We're
the
just talking
community
about the
steps back.
posturing. We're just talking about that. That's
Right.
all.
The posturing is there because we're playing dress up. We have on our hair, we have on our nails, and we have on our dress. So now I'm going to play like I'm an adult. That's where it's coming from.
Hold on. Have a comment.
I disagree with you to the point of dress because you can dress if you are supporting yourself or your parents are buying the outfits that you wear and they don't have a problem with what you're wearing and you're not, it doesn't give a guy the right to touch you.
I agree with that. I do agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? You can wear what you want to wear and still be your own person. That don't give a guy the right to come up and touch you and say, ooh, baby, this, that, and the other. You can wear what you want to wear.
But I think what Charles is saying is, and is that he was asking the question is, do we send the wrong message to guys? Are how does that affect guys and how they feel about
Because hormones are
sexuality?
jumping right about now.
Hormones are jumping.
Hormones
That's
are
exactly
jumping.
right.
Hold on. Have a comment?
Okay. Is it on?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to just say this. And, okay, you was talking about the women going to get their hair, your nails done. I have worked around young ladies all of my life. And I have seen girls 8 years old will make these two women, Sherry and some of these girls, look like they're, okay? And I'm a man. And I come in contact with a lot of women every day. And I have young girls dressing like they're grown. Okay? And what I mean by that, if I can have some of you, either some of mine who got attitudes, and when I see, and I'm not being a perverted or a creepy Tom, but let me just say this from a man's standpoint. If I see that's it or not know the age, if I see a 10-year-old girl, and don't think of being a pervert, dressed half naked, listen to me, I'm going to look. No, listen, because I feel like this. The way she dressed sends me a message as a man. If I go in the club and I approach a lady and she's half naked and she said, well, my name is such and such, and I said, well, golly, what is the only thing on my mind is she dressed half naked? And the message she has sent to me, even if I see her on stage dancing, bent all over, showing everything, if I get out, when she gets off that stage, there again, she sent me another message. She wants to have sex. If that same young lady, and I use this as an example. I use this on an example. I did a study, and when I was at Northwest Community Center, I had one young lady, real nice looking, attractive. She came in one day, looking, hoochie mama, you want to say. No one talked to her. She didn't get no attention. She was looking nice and decent. Now, she came in, that same young lady, looking hoochie mama, and everybody wanted to talk to her. But they didn't want to talk to her become a friend. They wanted to talk to her to be a sex partner because of the message she sent. So my thing is, it has a lot to do with how you dress and how you conduct yourself.
Okay. All right. Now, he said something very powerful there. And my question was going to be, and I have a question, but I think we have some other comments. You have something to say, Monica?
Answer this for me while you're there. What about if you have it real short and you are carrying yourself in a suggestive way versus if you have it real short and you can still be a lady with it? Because there's a certain way to walk, talk, sit, act, and do everything.
It's the attitude you carry with that skirt. Now, I have seen some young ladies wear real nice. When they got attitude, they got real positive, real respect for themselves. Okay? So my thing is the way you dress, the message you send. If you dress with your style, then you're going to draw the wrong crowd. If you dress with respect and respect for yourself, then that's the kind of person you're going to attract. Then some of you ladies wonder why you attract the wrong guy. Maybe you dress and take that consideration, maybe you'll get the right person.
Okay, you have something to say? Question?
Comment on that because I think as long as I'm making my good grades and as long as I'm keeping my mom happy and I'm doing my chores, then I need to dress out the way I want to wear because I make B's and C's. Not good, but that's good, you know.
Okay.
But as long as I'm presenting myself as a young lady, then nobody should judge me. You can't judge me if you don't know me.
Okay, I'm not judging. But let me tell you this. Let me tell you this. I know people personally who are A's and B's students who are strippers. Has nothing to do with it. So just because you make A's and B's, that doesn't make it right.
Okay, so just because she's a stripper, she should be judged.
No, you said the statement, I make A's and B's so I should be dressed the way I want. That's what you said, right?
No, I'm saying if I make A's and B's and I ask my mom to buy me this certain outfit and I know I'm a smart, intelligent, and I know I present myself as a young lady, then she should get it because I know inside I'm a young lady. And you shouldn't judge me for something that you don't know about me. You need to call her.
Because listen, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and if she want a skirt come up here, she may be the smartest thing at her high school. She's not going to get it. Because she not only represent herself, she represent me. The first thing they say, who is your father? Your father that you wear that?
But you know what? My father respects me like I respect him. And if he saw me walking around with something sleazy on, yes, he would tell me because he know who I am. But if you off the street and you judging me just because I have on something short, then you have the problem. I don't.
Hold on. Oh, okay, that's cool.
Oh, aren't you loving it?
Hold on. On the stage, Miss
Nicole.
Sims.
Nicole.
As Avina said earlier, we should be able to go anywhere and
hold
wear.
on. You got to talk into the mic.
Okay, I'm sorry. Like Alvina said before, we should be able to wear anything we want and go anywhere we want to go in it. However, we live in a society where, regardless of what we should do, some people are still going to make snide remarks and they're going to try to touch you and do things. So it's up to you to have respect for yourself to wear things that are becoming of a young lady. I mean, I've been through everybody down there, you know, who's rolling their eyes. I've been where you are before, and I've worn those little halter tops, and you know, it took my mom to come and say, honey, you know, you need to take that off because that's not, you know, that's not ladylike. And until you can understand where our parents and these other adults are coming from, you can't really, like, you can't understand why you shouldn't be wearing the things you're wearing and doing the things you're doing. And I think that the communication between adults and children has somewhere just fallen apart because, like she said and like Miss May said, it's all about posturing and the attitude you have. I'm sure that we can say anything we want in this whole discussion without getting attitudes with each other if we would just be a little more open-minded and start respecting each other. So all I'm saying is, you know, when you come up to the mic and parents, you know, could you try to be a little more understanding and, you know, students respect the adults. I mean, y'all might think that's old school, but I believe in it, you know, respect your elders. Please.
Go ahead.
I would like to ask the young lady who had said she was smart and if her parents agreed that she should wear what she wanted to wear. When I chaperone dances at some of these community centers, I would like to see some smart young ladies out there because for the most part, I spent most of the night trying to separate young girls from young boys. And I mean, all I would have to do is dangle a key in front of them for the way they're acting on the dance floor, not to mention the attire that they wear. And these are young children. These are 13-year-olds and stuff, and I know their parents drop them off in a certain attire, but they run straight to the bathroom and change. Why is that? Why do you have to change and wear midriff showing, short shorts? Why do you have to do that if you're not trying to send a message?
You know, Ken, we from old school, and we had to chase the girls. It's not like that anymore.
And to talk about this subject matter just a little bit, I'm just going to say this very simply. First impression, last impression, lasting impression. When I look at somebody and their posturing is correct and they look professional, I treat them that way. When I look at somebody and they simply look and act like a hoochie mama, I expect certain things of them in that realm. So always watch yourself and carry yourself ladylike. When I married my wife, I married her because she reminded me of my mother. Okay, simply the old school values, you know, family and all of those things. And so when men go out and they look for a woman that closely resembles or closely reminds them of their mother. And no man wants to think that his mama is a hoochie mama. Think about it.
Okay.
Well, to answer Ms. Marie's question, is that because children watch what their parents do. So if a young lady sees her mother dressed in short skirts, ultra tops, tight pants, and shorts all up their butt, then, you know, she's going to dress like that and she's going to act the way she see the women around her act. So it's basically it's not a do as I say type
do as
thing.
you see.
Yeah,
do as you see.
Monkey see, monkey do type thing.
Okay. Been waiting for a while.
Yeah, as far as the dressing or whatever, I see it as like your parents tell you, you are what you eat, you are who you hang around. And if you hang around people that do not respect you for what you wear, then that's it. Because me, myself, I may dress like this today, but if I go out to somewhere with my friends or whatever, I may put on a little short dress or whatever, but they're going to respect me the same way. And if you're not going to respect me, and I feel sorry for you, I'm not going to hang around you. That's your business. I mean, if you're not going to respect me, I'm not going to respect you back. And as far as me dressing the way I do, they say if you have an island parent, you have the strictest parent around. I have an island mother and an island grandmother. And my grandmother, I'm telling you, I will go in the store and pick out something that my mom will say, where are you going with that? And my grandmother will say, let the child wear it. Because she see this is the 90s. This is not when you're growing back up in your day or when you're growing back up in your way or whatever. But like they always say, if a man go around and sleep with 50 women, oh, they say he's just being a man. But a little woman walk down the street in a little short dress, oh, she's a hoochie mom. She being slutty or being skanky or whatever. That's not right. That's being judgmental.
I'm going to ask that question in a minute, but I want to hear what he has to say. He's been waiting for a while.
Yeah. I don't understand when you say that when a girl comes in the club with a short skirt on, what do you expect them to come in there with? It's not like they coming in there on a business trip. What do you expect? I'm saying,
Hold on.
I'm saying, but
hold on.
It's all about the
Wait
way
a minute.
the boy look at it.
I have someone that want to answer that question, okay?
No. It's the way the boy looks at it. If they're perverted, then, you know, that's them. But
What did he
there's
say?
there's some good boys out there, and they're not looking just for that.
But
You know,
generally, if I'm looking for someone to date, I don't go out and date someone seriously that would dress up like a hoochie mama.
They should be wearing clothing that fit them. I myself, I stand 5'7". When I add any type of heel to me, I can reach ranges from 5'8" to 5'10". You actually think I'm going to stand there in a dress up to my thighs, look at me now, and actually bend over. What would you think I am?
I'm not saying that.
God has given me legs. I don't need to use them in that advantage. I'm going to use them in a positive advantage. So I drop the length of my skirt a little lower than some of the shorter young ladies would wear them.
Yeah.
And I still get people saying, how tall are you? They should wear things that fit. And when it says one size fit all, carry yourself accordingly. Sometimes it does not mean all.
Okay. You have something you want to say, Monica?
You know, we're talking about hoochie mama. We're talking about outfits. I still say hoochie mama is as hoochie mama is. Hoochie mama is in here. It doesn't always have to mean that outfit. That's what I was saying. You put a short dress, and if you walk in it and wearing it right, it's a difference. And then how does he feel? And you know what? I like people to tell me their names. What's your name? Brian? I didn't hear. You said Brian?
Brian.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell the difference between a young lady that's just being stylish in a short dress?
Yeah, that's
than
what I was trying to say.
Okay.
It's not just everybody. Everybody don't do that. If you, right when you see somebody with a short skirt come in, you think they wanna, you know, they're a freak. But then if they bending over every time you see them, then you know they're a freak. But it's the way you look at it. If you like, oh no, she might have AIDS, you know what I'm saying? It's the way you look at it. If you're a pervert, you just gonna go up to her and try to get the number, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying? Go to the house, you know what I'm saying?
All
but
right.
if you're a gentleman, you're not gonna do that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Would a gentleman go after somebody with a dress all the way, like we're talking them and calling them hoochie mama?
How they act.
Okay, that's what I've been saying.
Okay. Now, we talked about something, and I have a question. And someone made a statement, and the question is, are the rules different for guys than they are for girls?
Question that we want to ask when we talk about teen pregnancy, because there's a stereotype that teen pregnancy is for females. You know, when we go out and we talk about teen pregnancy prevention, the guys will say, oh, that's for males, that doesn't involve me. So we want to know, you know, do the girls do we expect more from girls? You know, whose responsibility is it when we talk about teen pregnancy prevention? Is it, you know, should we be teaching more to the guys about commitment and responsibility? Do we teach more to the guys? Do we expect more from them? Or do we expect more from the women? I'd like to hear from some of the young people.
Is there someone that would make a comment to that?
Some of the guys.
Some of the guys?
Well, just until we can get somebody with some courage, let me just say that I was in Brevard, what is that considered? Cocoa, Florida, at Brevard Community College, conducting a forum similar to this. The majority of the gentlemen in this forum, and it was 75, almost 100 people, felt that it was the woman's job or the young lady's job to take care of all of the precautions.
Would you say that's our culture, our society that we live in?
I think it's just the times right now. It's no communication. How do they know that? Who's saying that? Who's dictating that?
I'm just speaking in general. I think it's a macho thing. It's a man thing that's a woman thing to protect herself. I mean, I'm just frankly speaking. I think it's a macho thing that.
What do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah,
I think it's both ways. I think it's all around thing. I feel like if I meet me a young lady, I want her to be able to have some kind of knowledge and basic understanding about prevention just as well as I do, because that tells me something about that young lady. You know what I mean? So, but I think it's a macho thing that like guys don't think that washing dishes is a man's thing, and something like guys may think that learning teen pregnancy is not a guy thing.
Ken?
From a cultural standpoint, we've sent the wrong message from day one, especially in the African American community. 90% of the time, most of the African American males were brought up by the female and extended females in the family, meaning mama, auntie, sister, so forth and so on. Because the father wasn't there, either he had to work or either he was just simply absent. Okay, and the message that we've sent is that it's cool for guys to have X number of women. It's cool for guys not to take care of their responsibility, to move from here, to move from there. And we have to change that somewhere, somehow. Let me applaud you guys, meaning Orange County, for taking the time out to explore this subject matter, because we need more forums like this so that we can start more communication and solve this problem. We have to get away from that old antiquated way of, you know, the guy can run around and be with whomever it is that he wants to be with and not take care of his responsibility. We need to get away from it.
Hi, my name is Sherry Priester, and I'm with TAPP. I have something to say. Okay, if I'm a male and my father's not there and he's not doing nothing for me, I want to be able to find somebody that I can protect. I don't want to be like my daddy. Like, if he's not there for me, why do I want to put that image in my child's eye saying that I'm not going to be there for them? I want them to be like me and have a number of children somewhere. And to that about whose responsibility to take more.
The precaution.
Yes, I think it should be equal, because we're supposed to be equal. It's not one person's fault or not. If you take more, then good for you. But if you take less, then.
Well, all righty. Thank you.
Okay. We have Ms. Sims first. Okay.
In answering Sherry's question, I think that I agree with the other Sherry. It should be equal, but in 1998, you can't worry about you can't expect your partner to be the one who's gonna, provide the protection. You have to provide protection for yourself. You had better take it upon yourself to protect yourself, because you don't know what's going on with the other person.
I agree with what the young ladies are saying, and I myself teach the young ladies that you have to take precaution for yourself, because you have to carry that child for 9 months, and you have to raise that child regardless whether the father wants to be there or not. But my question is for the young man that just said it was a macho thing. Well, how long is this macho thing going to go on? Hasn't generations taught us from mothers and grandmothers that have raised children on their own that you've got to take responsibility? That macho thing really has to die.
Back when I was in school, generations took responsibilities for children. Nowadays, children are having children, so whose responsibility is it when you have a youth that has a child? Most of your grandparents now are in the old school. We're 30, we're 32. Most of your great-grandparents are 40. So now, when you say generation, where does it start?
True. Well, that's what I'm trying to say, too, because we have how many parents here are single parents? I myself, I'm a single parent. Okay, my own father, although married to my mother, he was not around either. That's my point exactly. And there were other, there's other siblings around. He needs to. My question is strictly to him as a man. Oh, it's a macho thing. That kind of gets a little bone in me.
Listen to me when I say that. Okay, what I mean by it, we didn't have time, and like Kim was saying, the men didn't have time to worry about the baby. We was out trying to make the money and keep the house going. And that's just a macho thing. I mean, some guys feel like, I don't need to know if you need to go to the doctor and all this right here. That's what I'm saying. Guys feel like that's girlish for them to babysit and go to the doctor with their wife, go to Lamar's class. Some guys really think that's unnecessary.
There is a child involved because of your lack of concern for those issues.
But listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's good. I'm saying that the reason why you don't have a lot of guys in a lot of settings like this, because they feel like, one, it's a macho thing. I don't need to know about that. Let the woman worry about that. Let the woman worry about the 6 months and all that.
Basically, what he's saying is that
That's
they
what I'm
don't feel
saying.
it's their responsibility, it's more the woman's responsibility, and they expect the women to be here, and they have something else to do. You have something to say.
Yes, like the thing says, are you about it, about it? That's an equal thing right there. Are you about it? Are you about it? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Monica, you had something to say?
I was just trying to get some of the other gentlemen in our audience just to kind of speak up from a male point of view, because it's always the women that are going to jump into a situation and be bad about it. We're going to be the ones that are going to express ourselves. And again, I am not putting anybody on the spot, but I do want to open up the platform and the floor for the other gentlemen to just come on in. I think we've opened the door for them, but just to, let them know that it's all right to talk, okay?
Well, you talking about that macho thing? My mama is strong, and she is a powerful black African-American woman. She raised 4 kids by herself. And if my daddy felt like he didn't want to, they're not together right now, if he felt like he didn't want to pay child support, then he can be macho in jail.
I feel that
Okay.
That's another show.
That's why I said, okay.
if you're about it enough to lay down with that woman, then you should be responsible enough to know if that woman gets pregnant, you should be there regardless. No, I don't care if you're rich, poor,
Hold on. No. I'm going to ask a question. Because.
Go ahead.
I would like to comment on what he said. I want her mother say that she was saying why she lets her daughter stay at home and she lets her son go out, and she was like, well, if he goes out and get a girl pregnant, then that's their problem. They have to do it, not him. And I mean, it's not just the kids, it's the parents feeding that into their kids. Some parents are telling their sons that that's okay. It's okay to be macho, and that's not right. That's not cool.
That is an entire another show.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Benita Williams with the TAPP program. That goes back to what she just said. A lot of parents teach mama's baby, daddy's maybe.
Oh, yes.
Me, in my home, I have a 12-year-old son. I'm a single parent. I teach my son responsibility. That's what's wrong with the communities today, the parents today. There are a lot of parents within communities that do not teach their sons responsibility. And that's one step that we really and truly need to take. That's what I do. I want them to do it.
Okay, Sherry, the show is about teenage pregnancy prevention. We have about 2 minutes left. There's something that you want to say? No? I caught you off guard. What I'm trying to say is that is there anything else that you would like to say before we end?
That we'd like to get more males involved. Number one, we're starting, even from today's discussion, we see that the males are kind of still sitting back, letting the females say what they have to say. But we'd like to get more males to become active and involved in the effort to reduce teen pregnancies in Orange County. Is this the time to give out our number? Because we have a...
You can give out your number.
Okay.
Please do.
The number at the TAPP office is 836-2646, and that's our main line. And we are really encouraging males to get involved. And the other piece is we need more youth to get involved. We like to hear from more youth. We invited you here today. We want to know what you think what we can do to help reduce teen pregnancies. And we also want you to get involved with the effort to reduce teen pregnancies in Orange County. Like I said, we've been around at TAPP as we know it today with our grant for about going on 3 years now. And there's been, a leveling off of the teen birth rates to teens. And we want to just decrease that birth rate, but it's a community effort. We need to get the faith community involved. Like I said, the pastors definitely. We have an event on May 2nd, so we need to get the pastors involved, youth ministers, teens, and some more adult males.
Okay, AmeriCorps, number? Want to give out your number?
Yeah, AmeriCorps, our number is 318-3366, and we would like to hear from people. We'd like to get out there and have peer groups and hear what you have to say.
Do you have weekends number?
Well, I have a chapter number for weekends. The Jones chapter is 425-4 425-4681, extension 250, and they can get you in contact with the citywide organization also.
Okay, quickly, Monica, we have about 10, 15 seconds. Anything else that you would like to say?
I just wanted to say thank you to all of the young adults that did come out today and to the parents that did come out as well. And if you could knock on your neighbor's door and just tell them to come on and be about it, we would get this whole community restructured before you know it.
All right, I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I also want to thank the embassy and Tracy for letting us use the facility. Can you get a shot of Tracy there in the back?
Thank our panel, too. Thank your panel.
Okay, until next time, I'm Charles Morris. Be positive.
Wow, that's going back, man. Ooh, let me see if I can stop this right. It's like, wow. It's like, ooh, going way, way, way back. That was over 20 years ago. And still the topics, the situations and the problems are still basically the same. So I'm going to try. I did get in touch with Sherry, and I did put it on Monica May's page, and I'm going to try to get in touch with Karen. But I'm going to see if I can pull Karen together along with Sherry and Monica May, and we can do a follow-up on the show that was done over 20 years ago and just get some feedback, because they still have been very active in doing the things that we were doing back then. And I was communicating with Sherry, and then she said she was going to try to pull up some statistics as well to see have they changed at all. But anyway, I want to thank you for tuning in. We're here every Monday from 7 to 8 p.m. here at www.thejourney2020.com. Just to let you know, I do have some other shows that I'm pulling out of the archives, and it's funny because when I sit and watch them, I be like, you know what? These shows were very informative, and they were like really good. Not because of me, just the information, the panel, the message that we was trying to get out to the kids, and just hearing the kids and hearing what they had to say. Okay, so we got a lot more coming. So over the period of, I guess, the next, you can say maybe 12 to 14 months, maybe every other month, I probably will go into the archives and pull out some of the old shows, because we did this show for a little over 9 years. And so there's a lot of information, a lot of stuff in the archives. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed that. I know Monica May would probably be shocked when she see it on a page, probably either later on this evening or sometime tomorrow. But again, I'm Charles Morris, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Journey 2020. We'll be back next week, same time, right here. Enjoy the rest of your week.